Hi guys, it's Jackie. Hey, I finally got to work today. Yay! Rah! And it was a bumpy afternoon. Let's get to some racing. Oh, I need to present, don't I? Dur. Share screen. Uh-huh. Here we go. What level are we on? That I think that's the one with the cars. Eesh. Okay. Here we go. I moved my mic a little bit further away from me so I don't sound like I'm right there at you. Hopefully it works. So I was talking with the gal, waiting for my groceries. I was scheduled to work today. Thank you, Lord. Damn groceries didn't get here till like 15 till, and I had to work at the top of the hour. And I get in there, I'm like, oh shit, what are my passwords? Oh my god, why am I going so slow? Whoopsie do. Okay. I forgot my passwords. Just by luck, I remembered how to get into the one, and then I couldn't remember how to get the other one. Then it said my password was old or something like that. I'm like, oh shit. So we have a new manager. His name's Owen. Very nice man. He's been with the company for 6 years. And I think he's from the other state too. Uh, he finally had to have a tech help me. I've got all written down here on a little notepad, so should they call me back tomorrow, I'll be ready for it. I hope. Let me make sure. Yes. Yes, okay. I had all my papers covered up, so I just took the bundle and just put it onto my bed. I gotta go through that later tonight, get it sorted out. But, yep. Today we were calling people about, I guess, their I want to say health plan, but I don't think that's right either. And asking him to do a survey on how things went. Oh, I only got one complete in. Now, normally when I'm on the other platform, I can get mega buku buckas. Yes, but today I got one. But I did hear a sad story. Some man says he's in the beginning stages of Alzheimer and he's afraid that it would just confuse him more. Bless his heart. Oh my goodness. That poor man. Aww. I talked to another one, and he said that somebody had already called him about that, and that they were very mean to him, and he didn't understand why. And I apologized, and I'm looking at the one that had called him prior, and I'm like, gar, gar. But it wasn't them because they had gotten a busy signal. So, 'cause I was going to pitch a bitch. Very elderly man, and he goes to the VA, so he's a veteran. I said, thank you for your services. I apologize for the other asshole, whoever it may have been. Oh, yeah, I got many. No, I got a couple that said, can you take me off of your call list? Oh, and I have one lady, oh my gracious. She said, usually I'm a positive person, but oh my gosh, shout. She kind of reamed me out very nicely and asked if she could be taken off the list, and I said I can certainly try. Oh. And I put the number into the chat and asked if they could please listen to it. And oh, yeah. Good. Oh. And then Owen told me to go over onto the landlines, and so I tried to, but it went right back to the cell phones. Oh my Welcome back, you old bat. Welcome back. Oh, whoopsie doo doo. Didn't realize there was dynamite up there, I guess. Well, pick me, pick me. Oh, shit. Man, okay. My friend's still having trouble with his car, and Honey Buns thought he had it figured out, but then the friend looked it up and he says, I can't do that. So I let Honey Buns know and called him after work, and he must be in bed, and that is fine. He was up a little bit late last night. Had to take 2 kitties in today to get fixed. Hopefully he was able to do that. Hmm. Who? Tried to call him one more time, and I decided, nah, he's sleeping. Either he's celebrating, I don't know. But it's all good. I was starving when I was sitting there at work. I had to dash out and get some Whoppers. The Whopper malted milk balls? Yeah. I said, only two, but you know what? Fork fell in my hand. I was like, okay, alrighty. I just ate them very slowly because I wouldn't choke. I was making calls. Now, pick some butterfly shrimp. Butterfly shrimp. Anywho, that's what I had for dinner. I don't even know how whoopsie do. Don't even know how many I had. Zip, bup, bup. That shouldn't have happened. Nor should that. Okay. Hey, let my friend know that Honey Bun's sleeping. So, he was really trying to help him out last night with his car. Dang it. No. Now friend is without car. He has two, and the other one's just, yeah, it's not good. We'll be Ubering to the cigarette store. Yay. Okay, gentlemen. Oh, I should have picked more jello, shouldn't I? Yeah, I should have. Maybe tonight. Oh. You may see me on Nancy Grace. Yeah, after the Uber ride. Well, if I don't make it home, just look for me on Nancy Grace. Lord. Yeah. Body found or just had found. Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. That's where your thoughts go when you're into the true crime stuff, I guess. I have taken an Uber before. Oh, good lord. Okay. And it went quite well. The guy took the long ass way there, but yeah, still. Ew. Now that I work today, I can afford it, kind of. That's a laugh. All right, we go through this one. Well, lucky at you. Lucky there. Yes. Ha ha. Oh, and look at you. Well, what the hell was that? Mmm. Alrighty. We're gonna punch it. Boom. Okay, we're back into first place for a small while. Up at the top, it doesn't. Well, shit on you. It doesn't. What the hell? This thing's like messed up, isn't it? Usually it tells you how close you are to the end, and we're at the end. Lap two. What? That usually comes up trying to against one of the bosses. What the hell? I came in fourth. Wheel. Yep. Got off work and the gals weren't there. So, ain't that something? That's okay. Okay, see now it's normal. It's telling me, it gives me that thingamabobber up yonder. Mm-hmm. Doobie-doobie-doo. I want something else to eat, but I don't know what it would be. Something sweet. Although I could absolutely go for more of that butterfly shrimp. Oh my god, that stuff's so good. Dang it. Expensive as hell, too. Over $8 for a box of them. Oh my goodness. Oh, they are so delicious. Hmm. It'll come to me what's out there to eat. I got cookies, but it's like, nah, it doesn't sound good. Have I mentioned yep, I mentioned I got whatever by a dragon. There we go. The soft pretzels. Good lord, there's a name to them. Nothing. Super pretzel. There we go. They changed their recipe. Yeah, I was not happy. Luckily, I had a box still in the freezer of the old ones. Went back and I haven't had a problem since. Oh, yay, that's fun. Yay. Whoopsie do. What the hell? Okay. The new ones, the new recipe tastes like a freaking croissant. It's not a pretzel. Today I got the Bavarian pretzels. Oh, we will see how those react. Uh, yeah, what did you do? Go to the center. And dang it, had I been thinking I could have watched 911 when I got off work tonight. Just have to watch it tomorrow or Saturday. I will see what happens to me next. Oh, this makes me dizzy. Oh shit, we gotta go through it again. Mama Bear and her 69 cubs. Okay. If anybody watches 911, especially you, Robin, you gotta catch up, girl. Damn, I want to talk about it. Mm-mm-mm. Which reminds me, is anybody new? See, I'm checking this time to see if anybody's there. Mm-hmm. Now there we go. There we go. Yep. In about 20 minutes, I'm going to be getting off of here and watching something on DT. I think he used to be called Drunk Turkey, now he's just D period T period. And then tonight I gotta watch Reporter Room. She did a shorty. They're both about Koberger. Oh, excuse me if you hear me burping. Whew, Lord. My butt. It's a shaking, it's a quaking. Boo doo 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 boop boop. Look, 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 look. Hey! Fourth place. Whee! Does anybody remember the little ice cream thingamabobbers that were called Dibs. Oh my, those were so good. They were little bitty bites. Oh, fuck me. Excuse me. Little bitty bites that were chocolate covered. They had Heath and what's the other one? Uh, the Nestle Crunch, I think. Those were so good. What I've looked and I cannot find. They must have discontinued them because those would be really good right now. Just a couple of them. Just a couple. Dang it. Okay, keep it straight. There we go. Yep, shit. Damn near got it. Oh, I was first, eh? Oh, first deal for the moment. Shit. Okay. All right. It's good to have Scarlett back with us again. Yay. Mm. We talked to her today. Lighting a pacifier. I'm sorry. Excuse me. It's been a day. Okay. And here we get to run over the trainings, I think. All right. Hey, number 3, how are you? You are now number 2. Now you're number 1. I don't know. Say that. That's an oopsie shit. Try that again. Perfect. I will be doing an auction Wednesday on Whatnot. Of my paintings, the older ones. I do need to get down there. Well, probably tomorrow because there's no lighting over on that side. I need to kind of sort them out a little bit. Oh, yay. First again. Alrighty. We need to go through 2 more of those. And we can ace it up. Oh, we need to really ACC it up. Probably not tonight, though. I was going through the old paintings, the ones I did with the Ready Mix from Artist Loft. The shiny ones. Yes. I stopped using that because 1, it was so damn expensive. Number 2, it was so damn expensive. I'm starting the auction off at $3, and I don't know how long the auction goes on each item. Haven't looked that up yet. There's still quite a bit I gotta learn on Whatnot. Trying to think of the page. It could be Jackie's Paint Pour Plus with an exclamation point. I'm not real sure. I will put it over on the community page, community post. There we go. On my other channel. Yay. Hoping to make a few dollars. That would be good. Try it out. I'll be the guinea pig and try it out. Yeah. The girl should be with me, helping me out, I hope. Jeez Louise, I'm scared. We're not going to be first here. That's okay. Boom. Got them balls. Mm. Trying to think if I should bring this up or not. Mm. No, I don't think so. It's sadly burned into my mind. Ooh, Lord. No, I don't want to rehash that. No. We could. We could. Whoopsie dodo. Okay. We're not going to be first in this one either, are we? No. Watch me time here. Watch me time. Well, shit. Didn't see that coming, did we? Nope. We're gonna bust that son of a gun apart. We're gonna come racing in it in last place. Oh, look at there. Yay. I don't know if DT would let me play his stream on here or not. He doesn't know. I mean, I'm no big ass channel, that's for sure. I could ask him. They had a special meeting. Oh boy. Court meeting. When was it? 5th, maybe? I don't know. I'm still not real certain what it was about. It was about Koberger's mental health or what? That dude. Oh, and if I told you before that when Koberger went to the jail in Pennsylvania that he was very rude, crude, and just, yeah. Jessica from Reporter Room, she said that was false information. So, phew. I thought that totally would have nailed him. Damn. Going in there and lifting his shirt up and exposing himself and telling the cops to come at me, I'll slice you up. Damn, that's one sick dude. That is 2,000% positive he did that. Then he was singing lyrics to rap songs. Yeah, he did not do that. Oh, go first again. No, just to set the record straight, he did not do that. Thankfully. Well, we could move up. We could do the ACC. We could do the handling or the speed. We're gonna go do blah blah blah. Gonna go with the speed. On the other one that I'm doing, I'm going through cars like crazy, and I swear the further I get, the crappier they are. They're nothing exciting. Dang it! I want an exciting car. It's like once I passed the Beetle, everything was kind of like downhill. But they run well, so I guess that's what counts, right? Okay, get out of my way because I got to see what the fact loot all I'm doing. Thank you. I guess we're going to get a race in with the boss. Alrighties. Mhm. What track will it be? We're going against Chen. Okay. Alright, this is the easy track. Not a problem. Watch to see the porpoises running, going across the bridge up here. See, there they are. There they are. Oh my goodness, such cute little porpoise. I'm second. Where the hell did he go? Goodness gracious. No, way. We just passed him. And he just passed us. The next go around, I'll have to come over to the left for that. Because there will be those little barbells coming at us. What the hell's up with my speed? Okay, we're good now. There's the porpoise again. Yay! I wish I could do the sound of a dolphin. I can't. I can't do it. My cousin does it great. And it's been a while since I talked to him. Damn it. Now I don't know what's up with them. I sent him the. Oh, I hope I didn't. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I gotta get in touch with them. I'll do. Oh, hello. That's the only thing that was going to hold me back there. Hey. Coming out the asshole. Coming out the asshole. Yay, we got it. Yay. Just in time. Oh, did you hear? T-Rev saw. What the hell's his name? Blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Seth. There we go. Oh, well, gotta say Sean. Don't want to get sued. Yeah, he saw Sean at the bank. Now, I don't know if I'm going to believe him or not, because T-Rev's a piece of hooey dooey, and he ain't no chewy. No. He is whacked on crack. Oh. Just looked up and saw the number. Wait on a second. That's okay. Alright, one more. Uno mas. Hopefully that's the word for it. We're gonna take up the handling. All we gotta do is the ICCs at another time. And the points build up so much slower the further you go. I'm at level 2,400 and some, I think, on the other one. I just sit and play it while I'm listening to while I'm either listening to podcasts or while the gals are talking. Good Lord. There we go. Bust through that thacker dacker. Yes, it felt good to be back at work. It was different doing the IVRs on another platform. I had to get used to that. But we figured it out on our own. I want to be a wimp and think, can you help me make it alone? No. Sometimes you just got to do things on your own. Figure them out. Hey, are we going to have the porpoise again? I don't know. Huh. My friend is texting me. He said, oh. Oh, dear. Yeah, Honey Buns wanted to talk to him last night, but friend was out on the porch with his brother. It's okay. So I just did a lot of typing. I think he may have wanted to talk to him tonight, but Honey Bun seems to be snoozing. There's always the weekend. Then 5 minutes till showtime. You think he'll be on time? I don't know. Let's take another round. Can you tell when somebody's showing your live? I don't know. Questions. So many questions. Honey Buns has how many days? 9 days, and he turns another year older. It's catching up to me. We were joking last week or the week before. Oh, hey, he sent me something longer than just a oh. I just got the phone with Zach. Okay, who's Zach? Zach. Hopefully I'd say Honey Bun, my friend. Damn it. Let's talk about Honey Bun. Anywho, Honey Bun says, what if I take your Klonopin away? I said, well, I'll just take your blood pressure meds away. Boom! Got him. Okay. 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 You're probably going to hear some typing between. You know what? Let's get out of here. How do I get me out of here? We go to YouTube. Yes, I want to exit. And we'll see if this guy will let us. Oh, shit. I gotta find him, though. T. No. Damn it. Oh, there he is. DT show. Okay. Good. Okay, DT show. Oh, he's in here right now. He is already on. No. Me do. Oh, he only.
If I don't, let me know in the comment section. But like, comment, subscribe. You guys know what to do. Before we get into our conversation of the day, I want to remind you guys of our partnership with DataSeal. If you have any concerns about your personal information being out there on the web, whether it's your name, address, phone number, voting preference, religious preference, those type of things, make sure you check out DataSeal. They'll wipe all that stuff off the interweb. Get a 5% discount when you check out the link in the description below. All righty, guys. So we got a lot of stuff coming in today. A lot of new information in the Bryan Kohberger case. We're going to take this one step at a time. We're going to look at some of the documents that were dropped, and then we're going to look at some information that has been released by, I believe it's Dateline. There's an episode tomorrow on Dateline covering the Idaho murders. If you guys aren't members, I highly suggest you become a member because you can do it for just 99 cents. It doesn't cost too much. You can hit the join button. If you don't see the join button, if you're on that iPhone, check out the link in the description. It says become a member. There's a little link there. You click on that, become a member, go to the community page, go to the Drunk Turkey page, and from there you'll find a link for the Discord. And tomorrow night, what we're going to do is we're going to actually have a watch party with the Discord. I'm going to play the Discord. I'm going to play the actual show on Discord. We have a way of doing it so that way it's not a black screen. It's going to be the actual program itself in its entirety. entirety. I'm only going to interrupt during the commercial breaks and things of that nature to talk about what it is that they spoke on. And so you're going to see my commentary on things and things of that nature. There's a lot of information that's coming out of it, including some information about Brian Koberger's phone. And we're going to touch a little bit about what's already been put out there tonight, but they go more in depth in those things. They're also going to look at the video from the 1112 King Road light camera, and I have that actually on its way. I haven't gotten an opportunity to see it, but I actually have that on its way, and I'll be able to show you guys after tomorrow night's presentation. I'm not sure if I'm going to go live immediately afterwards or if I'm going to go maybe live Saturday morning, but I intend on going live around one of those days and show some of, if not all of, the 1112 King Road light. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, because that's going to be for everybody. The watch party on the program that NBC has out tomorrow night, that's just going to be on the Discord. It's not going to be on anywhere else, and it's only for members. But we will break down the camera footage from 1112 King Road. Now, in full disclosure, I have no intention on playing the audio portion of the 1112 King Road camera where between the hours that the crime is happening, out of respect for the family members and out of respect for the victims. Now, if obviously Dateline shows that and Dateline has that out there and it's already information that's out, that's a different thing. But if Dateline does not play that section of that video, neither will I. And so I just, full disclosure, letting you guys know that. All righty, without further ado, let's break it down. Let's get into this. Let me see. So we have a few documents that have been brought out. I don't know if anybody saw that video I put out over the past couple days ago now. It was referencing what that secret hearing was. We already know it had to do with, one, Brian Koberger's family members being allowed in court. They're going to allow them in court. The question was, there's an exclusionary rule. And what that exclusionary rule is that those that are testifying as witnesses can't be present during the trial until after they're called. When it comes to Brian Koberger's family members, it does look, or it does have a certain appearance if he doesn't have anybody on his side. And so, and in efforts to not prejudice him, they are going to allow his family members to be in the courtroom. And a big part of this is the fact that they are going to testify for the state. However, their testimony is narrowed down to a couple of different things. Now, I don't know exactly what it is they're going to ask them, obviously, but we can kind of deduce a few things that we know they are going to ask them. And it's going to be about the purchase of the K-Bar knife and it being purchased around March 20th and its delivery within 10 days of that purchase. Brian Koberger has stated that just because there's an item purchased by him with his name using his bank account delivered to his address with his name, doesn't mean that he's the one that actually had, received the item of the K-Bar knife. Somebody else in that household could have. And so now they need to ask everybody in that household, did you receive it? Was it yours? Did you pick it up? Do you have it? Do you know its location? Do you know where it's at? Those type of things. The other thing is whatever interviews that they had, whether it be at the scene or afterwards, have been recorded. So if they try to misshape their testimony in any way to fit the evidence, they're going to be able to purge them based on the information that they have. So not a big deal given the scope of what it is that they're going to ask them. I do think that one of the Koberger sisters was more cooperative than others. And I believe that they're going to testify to a lot of different things, including, the gloves, the, behaviors of Brian Koberger's after the murders that were unlike his behavior prior to. How about also the purchase of the K-Bar knife? That specific time frame, that 10-day period, that's more than just somebody seeing him with a knife. Because seeing him with a knife only gives you one date. That just means that the knife was purchased before that day. It doesn't tell you a range of when it was purchased. It just gives you the end date or the end range. It doesn't give you the beginning range of when you should search. To have a 10-day window, that specific says should speak volumes to people. All right, so that one was that. The next one was going to be referencing the examination and extension of the deadline of Brian Koberger. And so Brian Koberger's defense team had a psychologist and a doctor look at Brian Koberger and evaluate him, and they've come up with a couple of diagnoses for him: ASD, OCD, and a few others. Now, they obviously were aware and understood that because of putting this in there, they were going to leave the door open for Brian Koberger to be evaluated by a state's witness, and they are going to evaluate him. Now, I think where the state messed up is that they put in their document here that they were going to try to rule out other mental conditions that Brian Koberger may have, thus exciting a potential fishing expedition for, well, at least that's what the defense is claiming, a potential fishing expedition to find other things. But I just find it peculiar, and I broke this down in the video that I put out there the other day, is that Brian Koberger's argument is that since they didn't do personality testing and they only did specific tests, that the state should only be allowed to do those specific tests to rebut him. You know, the problem with that is, and the example that I used is somebody that has an infection. If somebody comes in with an infection and there's a, blood work that you can do to determine what type of infection he has, but this person doesn't want to do the blood work because they're afraid of what else could be found in the blood work, including ruling out the infection that they are here. This person is anticipating of having. I don't like it. I think that if you open up that box, you open up that door saying that you have certain conditions, verifying those conditions should be something that they can do. And, utilizing certain tests that are more accurate in determining, especially when you have a, what's the word I'm looking for? A diagnosis of like ASD, where it's the least severe of ASD and perhaps some of the symptoms could bleed into other things. And maybe perhaps because of the scope of their interview with Brian Koberger, or the lack thereof of actually being able to test him for specific things and doing further testing, it probably leads for a high margin of error. And so, I don't know. I think you open that door, you should be able to take what comes with it. Just like when they moved to, from Moscow to Boise, he got what he wanted. That also came with a new judge. And I'm sure a lot of people on the defense side are probably regretting that decision big time. All right, so let's see. We have a couple of other new documents, and then we're going to get into the new evidence. This new document is motion to seal the reply in support of the state's motion for examination of the defendant pursuant to Idaho Code for extension time, complete rebuttal penalty phase, expert disclosure. Given now the state of Idaho and order sealing the state's reply in support of the motion for examination of the defendant pursuant to Idaho Code and for an extension of time, complete rebuttal penalty phase, expert disclosures filed therein for reasons. And so basically they're just sealing this because it reveals mental health information about Brian Koberger, including a psychological, psychiatric, and neurological information and diagnosis of the defendant, and which some of the personal testing he objects. That's basically what that says. So they sealed that, nothing too crazy. This one's interesting. State's notice of penalty phase lay witness and request for victim impact statements. Hence now the state of Idaho hereby provides notice that the state does not intend to call any lay witness during the penalty phase. Rather, the state intends to rely on testimony and evidence admitted during the guilt phase. The state does intend to afford victims the opportunity to present their impact statements during the penalty phase. So victims' family members are going to be able to talk. That's going to be after he is found guilty on all 5 counts, 4 counts of murder, 1 count of burglary, or felony burglary. And so they'll be able to do their statements there. Let me pull this up real quick. I meant to do this and I completely. Give me 1 second. Let's see. I meant to do this. Let's see.
It must be on his.
All right. And this is the aggravators. So the reasons why the aggravators that the state are going to rely on to for the death penalty is that at the time of the murder was committed, the defendant also committed another murder, so more than one. The murder was especially heinous, atrocious, and cruel, manifesting exceptionally depravity. And so I think right here also you have the fact where you have Dylan say, Dylan say that she hears somebody say, "I'm here to help you," and giving a false sense of false pretense of safety or misunderstanding and try to confuse, and then obviously committing the ultimate crime with that. And so maybe perhaps that would fall under especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, manifesting exceptional depravity. Third, by the murder or circumstances surrounding its commission, the defendant exhibited utter disregard for human life. Obviously, that's clear and obvious in this case. And number four, the defendant, by his conduct, whether such conduct was before, during, or after the commission of the murder at hand, has exhibited a propensity to commit murder, which will probably constitute a continuing threat to society. And I think they're going to look at the fact that he was looking at K-bar knives after the murders. Why didn't he purchase one? Let's think about that. He started getting followed probably around December 12th. He was paranoid. He left the knife sheath behind. After committing a crime like that, and it gaining the attention of not just America but the entire world, probably weighed in a lot of pressure on him. And so he probably was looking out to see if anybody was following him, looking out for law enforcement type vehicles. And if they got his name December 12th, the FBI that is, and they were following him since then, and he gets pulled over in Indiana twice, maybe that's the reason why. And I don't think the Indiana stops had anything to do with the investigation, but he doesn't know that, obviously. So in his mind, he's probably thinking, they want to look at me, they want to check me out, there's something here. So maybe this is the reason why I prevented him from purchasing another knife. However, is that the reason why they think that he was going to be a continuing threat to society? I think that's a good possibility. All right.
I gotta go grab some Whoppers.
Okay, so let's see. This continues to say that the state does not intend to afford the victims the opportunity to present, does intend to afford the victims the opportunity to present impact statements during the penalty phase. Idaho Constitution and Idaho Code guarantee victims' right to be heard. Upon request at all criminal justice proceedings considering sentencing, state moves for immediate family members identified in State Exhibit S1 attached states motion to eliminate immediate family members in the courtroom filed on the 24th of February 2025 to be allowed to present victim impact statements during the penalty phase in the above title case. And they're going to be doing that. I guarantee you there's going to be some powerful victim statements during that penalty phase.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you've seen, this is just one of four families who, obviously there was more families who were affected by this. I do think that the surviving roommates are victims as well.
They are.
But I think more than just that. I think that more than just Steve and Christy are going to speak. You're going to have Ethan's family come in. Now they're saying that they're going to show up and they're going to They're going to represent Ethan, and I'm sure they're going to have something to say at this impact statement. You have Maddie's family, you have Xana's family as well, along with Kaylee's family. And so, if we've seen just Steve do a couple of interviews and how impactful those interviews were, actually being there and having the unity of all the other family members there as well, that's going to be even more powerful. This guy definitely messed with the wrong bunch of people. That's for dang sure. All right, let's continue. Motion to seal defendants, phase 2 mitigation witness list. Brian Koberger, moves the court for an order to seal the defendant's phase 2 motion mitigation witness list, then they're going to give it to them. That's what that one is, and that's what the next one is. They're going to do that. The next one is order sealing reply in support of state's motion for examination of defendant. And based on the state's motion to seal reply in state's motion to examine the defendant and for an extension of time, complete rebuttal penalty phase expert disclosure here then are exempt from disclosure and is sealed. So anything that's going to have to do with Bryan Kohberger's mental status is going to be sealed. That's just the ands, its, or buts about it, guys. All right. Before I get into the new evidence and the stuff that was just come out, let's answer a few questions and look at a couple of super chats. And first thing I want to say is, wow, thank you, GSUPM, with a $50 super chat. Thank you for your great coverage. No, thank you, and thank you as well for your support. I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Niece Burns comes in with a $9.99 super sticker. Thank you so much. Unravel, member for 12 months. Hit that thumbs up, become a member. It's worth it. I appreciate that. Yes, please. The Discord is great. We do member-only lives where we do member-only live chats, especially on the weekends. And so the Discord has become a place for conversation. I'll say that. I really do and start to,
I don't get Discord. I
enjoy it. Let's see.
Discord.
Melanie becomes the newest member. Diane becomes the newest member. Thank you guys so much. Colleen, April, Gina, Karen, Palapalooza. I like that name. The Cindy, Karen, thank you so much. Alley Books, Truth in Time. Thank you guys. Thank you. You guys rock. Make sure you guys go and hit the link for the Discord so that tomorrow, don't forget, we're going to be watching the program on the Discord. I'm going to do my commentary. We're going to watch the program. I tried to do it here before, and every time I've done it here, it's kicked me off. It's copywritten me and a bunch of other things. But Discord apparently won't do it, so we're going to be able to do that. Steph C says OCD is more important here than is being spoke on. Compulsion is the root of OCD. Evidence of compulsion is all over the place here. Not that all people with OCD kill. That's true. That's true. Extreme Blonde DT show with lots of new members tonight. When will you be sending out the link to the Discord? So I integrated it already. So if you're on the Discord now and your membership has expired, I recommend re-upping your membership because it will be kicking folks off. So the link should be once you hit the join button, it should be there. If it's not, I will put a link in the in the community post afterwards. It's new to me, but I integrated it so that once you hit the join button, you should be able to navigate there. Sirius Black comes in with their membership as well and gifts a Drunk Turkey Show membership. Make sure you guys have those on. All righty, so let's break it down. Let's get into this. 2248. I need to write that down. And the reason I'm writing that down is I'm going to edit that part out. So I put it down on the for audio only podcast. All right, so there's going to be a new video coming out, and we're going to watch it tomorrow on the Discord, as I mentioned. But there's little bits of information that have come out. And so this is a document that I have looked into, and let's read it. It says here, in the early morning hours, November 13, 2022, when 4 University of Idaho students would be stabbed to death in an off-campus house, as some of them slept, a neighbor's home security camera captured the same white car circling the block multiple times. The vehicle approached the house again and again before speeding away 13 minutes later. Investigators referred to a white Hyundai Elantra believed to be a 2011 or 13 as crucial clue as they solicited the public's help in finding the suspect. It also remains one of several key pieces of evidence, including DNA and cell phone data that the prosecutors say tied Kohberger to the crime scene. Kohberger drove a white 2015 Elantra. Cell phone tower data and phone records also obtained by Dateline indicate that an FBI cell phone expert said Kohberger's phone connected to a cell phone tower providing coverage within 100 meters of a rental house, of the rental house at 1122 King Road. it connected 23 visits over a 4-month period, all after
23
dark, one
times.
visit just 6 days before the killings.
Mm.
Now, that was in a document that we've broken down and we read. And I wondered, how many times did he go back out there? How many times did he go back out there within the 6 days? Because they only broke it down to that point at that, for that document.
Mm.
I don't think that means that he didn't travel in there in those 6 days. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, even if he did, all they could have done is just said he was there 23 times between, I can't remember what date it started. I think it was June to November 13th, 2022. But they stopped it 6 days early. I wonder what happens before then. Now, this is also putting the phone within 100 meters 23 times. What about the times when his phone was off? Remember, we had Steve Gonsalves on the channel. We interviewed him. He said that he was aware that they have him on camera on days that he was in the area when his phone was off. Now, that's scary because that also tells me that he was probably doing practice runs around there.
Yep.
And something may have deterred him, whether it be a party going on that night, whether it be too many vehicles there, maybe it be the times that he'd gone by, lights were on, there was activity going on, et cetera, et cetera. And so,
Chasing that big time.
interesting points that they have made. All right, let's continue this. Meanwhile, phone data from Brian Koberger's phone in the possessions of law enforcement include internet searches in the weeks before and after the killings on serial killer Ted Bundy and searches on pornography with the words forced, passed out, drugged, and sleeping.
All right.
Now, this is very interesting, right? So, searches on serial killer Ted Bundy. Now, I thought it was weird. Now, I brought this out a long time ago. I said, when we found out that Brian Koberger's alibi was supposedly the Wawa Park, or he was partially at the Wawa Park, the initial thing that popped into my head was the fact that there was a body that was located at the Wawa Park back in the 70s, and the body was of Joyce LePage. She was found without clothing, wrapped in a WSU rug. She had attended a party, I believe, at WSU or something to that nature. She's believed to have been bludgeoned somewhere in one of the rooms and then wrapped up in a carpet and taken out to the caverns or the canyons out there and left. I know a lot of people. Well, the theory from a lot of folks is that perhaps that was Ted Bundy's first victim. That there was some similarities as far as being a co-ed or a college student and in the manner they found her and those type of things. In fact, Ted Bundy was asked about Joyce LePage. Now, he denied doing the murder. He denied being involved in it. Now, whether he did it or not is one thing, right? What matters for this case was Brian Koberger aware of it? Did he know about the rumors that Ted Bundy may have started his reign with Joyce LePage, and did he believe it? Now, if it was Brian Koberger who believed that Ted Bundy started with Joyce LePage, isn't it kind of just really weird that his alibi is where one of these persons that he's searching up around the time before and after the murders, he's searching him up? Isn't it kind of weird? Isn't he paying to me, I even use the term, he's paying a little bit of homage to him. I thought it was odd. I've been in the comment section, I've been told a lot that, it wasn't Ted Bundy, there's evidence and proof. In this situation, what matters is Brian Koberger's thoughts. Did he think Ted Bundy was involved? And if he did, that's pretty weird. Now, the other searches within his the pornographic searches for porn was forced, passed out, drugged, and sleeping. Now, remember, Steve mentioned in our interview that they were reached out by one of these folks that took his Reddit survey. And in this particular situation, the person, what he would do for his crimes was he was breaking in and he was stealing, and in some cases may have violated some women. And what he'd do is he'd wait and stalk, and he'd find what do you call it, houses that had parties and allowed cops on it. And if something like somebody leave, or like a boyfriend got arrested or something like that, he'd go in there. And the part that Steve said that Brian Koberger got off on the most had to do with uh, the sleeping, the ladies passed out, those type of things. And so um, pretty interesting that that's what he's also searching for. Also, given the nature of the crime, you had victims asleep, passed out from intoxication, things like that. So um, really interesting thing that they put up here. And so just wanted to point that out. And let's continue. So this goes on to say, Latah County prosecutors have not detailed the motive for the attack, and gag order prevents many involved in the case from speaking publicly. Now, the motive is an interesting thing, right? And a lot of people will look and have pointed at the fact that he was going through, and including myself, that he was going through a lot of problems at WSU. He was losing his job. He was fighting with his professors. Women were reporting him for his obvious and disturbing behaviors, et cetera, et cetera. But the thing is, he purchased a lot of that kill kit while he was in Pennsylvania. And I don't think he was going through a lot of adversity from what we understand during that time. He was graduating with his master's degree in criminology. He was one of two students in one of his professor's class, although she never met him and it was online. Um, he still was recommended for the PhD program, was accepted, got a TA, he was already informed of a TA position. He was already informed that he was going to be getting paid. This should be the highlight or the height of his life. I mean, you look at the very low point in his life when he was overweight and then got addicted to drugs and a bunch of other different things going on in his life. When in his youth, he's overcome all those demons ish, and to the outside world at least, overcame those demons, and has made something of himself. So you wouldn't think, why would you? How do you correlate the purchase of the knife and those other things with the problems that he was having at WSU? You really can't. And so this tells me that maybe perhaps he did seek out, this profession and the studies to commit a crime, to prepare him for a crime, And when Howard Bloom brings up, the motive that he was trying to impress Dr. Ramsden, I don't think that's the case. But what I do think is that if you have somebody who thinks he's smarter than everybody, you have somebody that looks down on women, isn't it possible that a part of, not necessarily why he did it, but a part of the afterwards, the trying to stump his professor, maybe telling her, hey, look at this case, look at this. Now, remember, she said there was no email correspondence between Brian Koberger while he was at WSU. Correspondence means a back and forth. And so if Brian Koberger emailed her and she didn't respond, that doesn't count as a correspondence. She also said that Brian Koberger has not contacted her since his arrest, meaning that he was contacting her prior to the arrest.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there's a world where he was messaging her and maybe even asked her some questions about, maybe said, hey, look at this case, or just maybe even emailed her news articles or something in hopes to see if he could stump her. Maybe that was something that he was hoping to get off on. Like I said, I don't think that Dr. Ramsden had anything to do with what occurred. Obviously had nothing to do with what occurred. I think Brian Koberger may have sought her out and her studies in efforts to try to manipulate the situation to learn from her. And I think that he probably was thought of, or maybe was getting off of the fact that he could stump somebody like her, somebody as prominent as her, somebody he learned from. I don't think he did it because of her, but I think he got off on that fact as well. I hope that makes sense. You know what I mean? Let me know in the comment section. I know you guys will. Let's see. This goes on to say, Koberger may have known how Koberger may have known any of the victims, housemates, Madison, Bogan, Kaylee Gonsalves, Anna Kernodle, as well as her Kernodle's boyfriend, Ethan Chapin, is unclear. So they don't know how they know about it. I know a lot of people are pulling up, this pool party, right? And it seems like they've talked to a lot of people at this pool party. If they still don't know how Bryan Kohberger knew the victims, that should be a pretty big clue that they weren't at this pool party. Bryan Kohberger went to a pool party. It doesn't sound like any of the victims were at the same party. Because if that were the case, if any of the victims were at the pool party, okay, so yeah, I just got word I have a membership spot on the YouTube DT page. Discord link is there. If any members, only members will have access to it. Thank you. So if Dateline would have found out that Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, or Ethan were at this pool party, they would have been the first ones out there saying, hey, guess what? They were at the pool party too. The fact that they've been able to talk to so many people that were from that pool party and still are unable to connect those dots themselves. Now, I understand maybe perhaps law enforcement might have a better idea. Law enforcement might know something more. Law enforcement might have all this evidence, and they may exactly know where they crossed paths, how many times they crossed paths, based on where his phone was at and where the victims were at certain times. They may even have an idea of which one of the victims, if there was just specifically one that he was following. We come to find out during this promo that we're also going to play that for tomorrow's program, that Bryan Kohberger was not just following the victims, but he was following many of their friends. So he was really trying to learn them and understand them through social media.
Oh, they're friends.
And so you would, if he's learning the friends and he's going through that, indication, through that, he must have met him somewhere. I just don't think it's this pool party. I don't think it's the pool party. But maybe police have an idea. Maybe law enforcement have an idea of when more or less it may have happened. I know that there's a weird thing, right, where Bryan Kohberger's friend Ashley Fugel, she passed away, and I think the road that she passed on was Lindsay Lane.
That's familiar.
And which is very similar to Linda Lane, which, from what I understand, Bryan Kohberger looked into apartments, not necessarily the ones on Linda Lane, but apartments from that same group of people. Maybe he did look at Linda Lane, and I don't know. Maybe that's where he got a lot of connections, but I don't know. Ashley Fugel was a girl that passed away. She overdosed, and there is an article that's out there that said that Bryan Kohberger was a suspect at one point before they ruled it an overdose.
Wow.
And so go look it up. And she does kind of look like Xana. Warning label Nina. She's put out some information about it. It's pretty compelling, She lived on Lindsay Lane. Linda Lane is pretty close. Did that play a role in why Bryan Kohberger chose that area and who? I don't know. I doubt it. To me, he went up to the third floor immediately. That tells me that his target or targets were on the third floor.
Yep.
Let's see. It says, in June 2022, Kohberger moved to Pullman. 10 days after moving, he was invited to a pool party in Moscow where attendees told Dateline they had an awkward interaction with Kohberger. One former female graduate student said Kohberger put his number in her phone and then texted her the next day mentioning how they had chatted about hiking. The text read, in part, I really enjoy that activity, so please let me know. Now, she was kind of worried and concerned about it because if he would have gone out hiking or she would have gone out hiking with him, that's a scary situation knowing what he's capable of, right?
Yeah.
And being somewhere where there's probably no cell service, uh, by yourself, I mean, depending on where you're at, and we already know what time of night he likes to go hiking. I put that in quotations, by the way,
Mm.
for those that are just listening in. Um, that could have turned out really bad. The wording in the text, as I look back on it, is kind of peculiar. The woman said it's almost overly formal,
Mhm.
and she decided not to respond, and probably saved her life. To be honest with you, I'll be honest with you. Based on this, what he's capable of. When the fall semester began, Koberger, who also served as a teaching assistant, had interactions that stuck uh, to fellow classmates and teachers, some who made complaints that led to the dean to discuss his professional behavior. Prosecutors say DNA was discovered on a knife sheath located on the bed next to Mogan's body, and testing found it to be statistical match to Koberger's. Prosecutors also connected Koberger's purchase to a K-bar knife from Amazon 8 months earlier, 8 months before the murders on March 20th, and that was the same type of sheath that comes with the K-bar found in the victims' homes. Now, March 20th is probably around the time I think where he's making that Reddit and he's doing that survey. So I think a lot of maybe perhaps his studies and studies into the criminal mind of these individuals who he's probably finding some commonalities with, the lack of emotion, the lack of remorse, maybe perhaps he knows the kind of person he is and what he gets off on. His searches that we talked about were, pretty prevalent of that, and so he's reading this about these people and what they get off on and all these other things. He's probably connecting some dots in his own mind, saying, "Man, that sounds a lot like me, and I can relate to these people." And I've always wanted to know how this felt or that felt, and then he sees and hears and probably watches videos on testimony and or um, audio from when his professors talk to serial killers on the emotions that they felt, and he's probably picking up on the fact that those folks are, he's probably picking up on the fact that this is a person who feels and acts a lot like me, and yet you can hear the emotion in their voice, and how they come alive when they talk about the despicable crimes that they're doing. And maybe he wants to feel something like that, you know? And because March 20th, that's when he purchases the K-bar knife. Like I said, he was graduating with his master's degree. He had the TA program, in line, going to Pullman, Washington, traveling across the country. I mean, this should be the height of his life. And he's purchasing a K-bar knife, and he's purchasing a balaclava mask and a backpack and certain things of his kill kit already. So do I think that the fact that his world was falling apart while he was at WSU played a role as to why he did it? Yeah, I think that maybe perhaps that maybe not necessarily pushed him over the edge, but was that straw that broke the monkey's back, so to speak, that last bit of whatever, you know. uh, But either way, I think he still probably would have done it. Let's just say, well, it's hard, right? I mean, it's hard to say that if he didn't have any problems where he was at, if they weren't kicking him off, if he wasn't grading people too difficult, if he was able to blend in a little bit better, would he have committed these crimes? I don't know. You know, because if he wasn't, if he blended in a little bit better, if he was able to blend in better, if he was able to, because to me, somebody to commit the crime in the manner that they did, with the cars that were outside, with the unknown stuff that was happening because of the cars that were outside, Ethan being there. There's a lot of impulse issues, and when you have impulse issues, other issues are going to happen, such as the arguments and the problems at work, and et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna stop this here. If you want to continue on, I put the link in the address. I put the link in the address. Yeah, I put the link in the comments, and I stopped at 43 minutes. So I hope everybody has a good night. Please stay safe, be careful, and remember, don't be an asshole. We'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.